discretion is advised.
Dangerous pyroclastic flows coming from La Soufrière. The La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to erupt, with the latest explosive eruption including a massive pyroclastic density taking place at 4:15 a.m. on Monday. According to information from the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO Director Michelle Forbes, this was one of the largest eruptions to date. This flow has destroyed La Soufrière's pre-existing domes, and the current explosions are being generated from a new vent. National Geographic defines a pyroclastic flow as a dense, fast-moving flow of solidified lava pieces, volcanic ash, and hot gases. It is extremely hot, between 200 to 700 degrees Celsius, burning anything in its path, and may move at speeds as high as 200 miles an hour. Pyroclastic flows destroys anything in their paths, and people cannot outrun them because of their high speed. The University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center said since midday on April 11th, the time between episodes of high-amplitude tremor has lengthened from 1.5 to 4 hours to 5 to 8 hours. The Seismic Research Center said episodes continue to coincide with periods of enhanced venting or explosive activity, and small volcano tectonic earthquakes were recorded starting around 6 p.m. on April 11th. The explosions and accompanying ashfall are likely to continue to occur over the next few days. The UWI Seismic Research Center said these events may be similar to larger in magnitude. But the island's police commissioner, Colin John, who spoke to CNC3's The Morning Brew yesterday, said there are still some people in the red and orange zones close to the volcano who do not want to evacuate. He said so far there have been no reports of any deaths, but there are areas that are completely cut off because of the ashfall, and a significant number of people have been displaced or relocated. He said there was not much the police could do to physically remove those who do not want to leave. The government may have to choose a state of emergency. I don't know if that's a path that the government may choose to go. That is beyond me. But absent of that, we cannot literally lift them up and bring them out of the zone, John said. And CARICOM nations and other countries are lining up to assist Vincentians. Minister of National Security Stuart Young said 50 soldiers from the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force are expected to sail to St. Vincent today on the Galleon's Passage to carry supplies and assist the island. The vessel will also bring home TNT citizens who are in St. Vincent. On Sunday, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez wrote to TNT's Foreign Affairs Minister Amri Brown. Gonzalez said a number of homes have been destroyed so far by the eruptions, and most crops on the island and untold livestock will also be lost. He said the immediate danger is the comfort, care, and safety of evacuees. Gonzalez said immediate needs are water, bedding, respiratory equipment and supplies, and sanitary products for babies, elderly, and women. Several local NGOs have started collecting relief items to ship to the SVG in the coming days. Meanwhile, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, took to his Twitter account yesterday to announce help from Venezuela. He said, "Our brothers and sisters from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela have come to our aid, sending a ship with much-needed supplies and equipment. We are eternally grateful for the generosity of Comrade at Nicolas Maduro, the government and people of Venezuela." Dr. Gonsalves also used a social media platform to thank his St. Kitts and Nevis counterpart, Dr. Timothy Harris, who pledged 1 million EC in financial support to accept 300 Vincentians to stay on the island, troops for peacekeeping, and other forms of assistance. The SGV Prime Minister said, Thank you, my brother at PM Harris KN and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for the generous pledge of support during this very challenging situation facing us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The United Kingdom has also joined the list of countries ready to assist and has provided an initial £200,000 via the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office to support the regional response through the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA.
In a phenomenon called pyroclastic flow, this gas, combined with hot ash, can race down the sides of a volcano as fast as 100 miles per hour, burning everything in its path. While volcanoes are some of the most destructive forces of nature, they have also helped make life on Earth possible. Volcanic ash provides nutrients to nearby soil, making the land fertile. And lava, when it cools, hardens into rock and creates new landforms.
Charges filed for men who took out their relative. Two 29-year-old Mayaro men are expected to appear before a Mayaro magistrate today, charged with the demise of their relative Naresh Sukram, which occurred on Sunday, 4th of April 2021. The police service confirms that Dhyanraj Sukumar and Dinesh Ramprasad, both of Isthmus Road, Point Galeota, Mayaro, were charged with the offence following advice received from Acting Director of Public Prosecutions, Joan Honor Paul, on Friday, 9th of April 2021. According to official police reports, 18-year-old crab vendor Naresh Sukram, also known as Rajesh, was close to his home in Point Galeota on Sunday, 4th of April 2021, when he got into an altercation with two male relatives, one of whom was armed with a cutlass. During the incident, Sukram was injured on the neck and shoulder. He died at the scene. The two suspects were arrested shortly after the incident by officers of the Mayaro police station. Investigations were supervised by ASP Douglas of the Homicide Bureau of Investigations, HBI Region 2, and the accused were charged by PC Rambajan, also of the HBI Region 2, on Saturday, 10th of April 2021. They are scheduled to go before the Mayaro Magistrates Court. No suspects held in suspected arson death. A family in Indian Walk, Moruga, has been living in fear since August 2017. The persons who nailed shut the doors to their home and set it alight have never been held by police. Two people died in that fire, 8-year-old Alia Primus and her aunt, 41-year-old Noli Nisha Gopal. The other family members saved themselves by jumping through windows and breaking through one of the sealed doors. Alia's mother, Nicole Gopal, had called on Police Commissioner Gary Griffith to get involved in the case and find the people who took out her child and sister, but there was no response, relatives said last week. The family has since rebuilt their home. Nicole Gopal had moved out of the house. It was too painful to stay there, she said. The Express contacted the family last week. A relative said although their home was rebuilt, the pain of losing little Alia and her aunt would never be erased. It is something you can never recover from. We are living here in fear, knowing that the persons who did this are still out there, maybe close by. We are taking our own safety precautions. We don't think they will ever be caught. We are forgotten, but we believe our God will give us justice, a relative said. There was no motive for the heinous act. The family was well known in the community and had not been involved in any altercations. The last memory Nicole Gopal has of her daughter is of her sitting on her aunt's lap on the front porch of the family's home. Gopal then left to spend the night at a friend's house. Later on, the single mother would turn on her cell phone to find 101 missed calls. Alia, her only child, and Nolene Nisha Gopal, her sister, had died in an arson attack. The remains of the woman and the child were found together at the back of their home. Nicole said, "I never saw my sister and Charles' faces. Every time I closed my eyes, I would see both of them sitting on the front porch. Alia was sitting on her lap. Why would someone do this to our family? I cry every single day." Police said the front and back doors were nailed shut and the house set on fire. Fire officers gathered evidence which was sent for testing, but the results were never revealed to the family. "I have lost faith in the police service. I went to the police station trying to get information on the investigation, but they had nothing to tell me. I told the officers I need some closure. I couldn't even see my child's face for the last time. I think about her every single day. I was a single mother and I tried really hard to make my child happy. My dream was to buy a vehicle to take my daughter out, and now I have that, and she cannot enjoy it," the mother said. 15 people, including 6 young children, lived in the 2-story concrete house. They all escaped except for Alia and her aunt. Fire officers attempted to enter the house to search for them, but were prevented by the thick black smoke. After the blaze was extinguished, the child and her aunt were found in the kitchen. The girl was still wrapped in her aunt's arms. An autopsy performed by forensic pathologist Dr. Valerie Alexandrov found they both died from smoke and soot inhalation. Grandfather Lincoln Elvin said he was asleep with his wife Sumitra Gopal in an adjacent apartment when he heard a loud noise around 2 a.m. Elvin, now 73, said he looked outside and saw the house where his children and grandchildren were asleep on fire. "I got the key and tried to open my front door, but electricity went and the key dropped. I ran back and broke a window to get out. Then I started calling everyone. They started to run out. I started to count and ask who was missing. Someone said Alia and Nisha were missing. I tried to go in, but I could not see anything, and I was calling, but no answer," he recalled. Elvin said his daughter and granddaughter were trying to get to the back door through the kitchen. Elvin and his wife are now ailing. Relatives said the couple never recovered from the tragedy. They are not expecting anyone to be arrested, but they are leaving it up to their God now. Both of them have forgiven the persons who did this, but they will never forget, a relative said. "The family was destroyed," Elvin said, as there were no family gatherings. Holidays and birthdays go by without being recognized, and too often tears flow as the memories were too many. Alia was a pupil of 5th Company Baptist School. Her aunt cared for her when her mother was at work. Noli Nisha Gopal had one daughter, Kernisha McIntosh, who was spending the July-August holidays at her aunt's house in San Fernando when the fire occurred. McIntosh, now 18, said her mother was her everything. The teenager said she had chatted with her mother on the phone until 1 a.m. that day. "I couldn't sleep and I was texting with her. She asked me how I couldn't sleep, and then I fell asleep and did not reply. But my mom worked near to where I was staying, so every morning she would come and wake me up before she'd go to work. And that morning I woke up and it was late and my mommy was not there. Then I saw my daddy and grandma, and I was confused. I wanted to know why they came," said McIntosh. "Daddy took me into a room and he started crying. I kept asking what happened, and then I asked for mommy. My uncle said there was a fire and they could not find mommy," she said. McIntosh said she never wanted to hear no more. "I didn't know what to do. What could happen to me now? Where would I live? I stayed with my aunt for a while and now I am with my dad," she said. Her father, Terence McIntosh, said he was disappointed in the police service and questioned how no one was ever detained in connection with the crime.